They say that you can be asleep in the dreaming or awake in the dreaming, but there's
Yeah,
just the dreaming.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I, for one, was in a lot of pain for a couple of years. And it would have been a pleasure to not wake up again. I was in physical pain.
Mm,
And I, when you know that you're already that you're that light, love, and energy, it really didn't matter if I was here or not. It wasn't awful thinking about not being the body anymore. It was quite pleasurable thinking about not being the body anymore. And I would
mm,
think as I would age, maybe I might think that way too. But
yeah.
certainly from the point of view of the awareness and the energy expressing is everything, when you know you're that, there is a gratitude that you can experience this body, mind, and all the experiences, the seeing, the feeling, the tasting, the touching, and which can only be experienced through a body, mind instrument. And then I'm thinking, okay, what if I lose my arms and my legs and my eyes and I can't hear and I can't speak, but there's still that awareness energy and this sense of peace and love, and we attach so much to it, to the body itself, but the body's a wonderful experience. Thoughts are a nice experience, all experiencing, and that's basically what we are, the knowing of our experiencing,
Yeah.
whether we have the body mind or not. There's just the knowing of our experiencing. For me, when the body mind disappeared, and there was no I, there was no universe, there was just this knowing and loving to be. That was still just the knowing of that, the knowing of that's all there is. There isn't anything else. So whether it's expressing as this universe and body mind and experiencing others and relationships and apparent duality, it's still that same energy, no matter if you're awake to it or not. But it's for me, it was definitely an improvement
Mhm.
to understand that that's what was happening rather than struggling to find it, only to recognize that I was already that and never left.
Mm. Yeah, I remember I'm the last one to judge someone who would decide to check out. My best friend decided to check out, and she didn't do it. Life did. Life has conditioned her
Exactly.
to it. Yeah, life has
Yeah,
given her.
I had a friend do that too. He was actually a teacher
Mm,
of of non-duality, and he had a nice little group of people that he would share with, and something shifted in him, and he was just in total agony that understanding wasn't arising anymore. The sense of an I returned, and he went to teachers and so just everybody and anybody reaching out, trying to figure out, I want to go back to what I was, what was happening before, that expression that was happening before through that instrument. And no
mm,
matter what he did, he tried therapy, he tried everything. And you could literally watch him just fall apart. And physically, he was just on fire and shaking, and his mind and his eyes were like just, he was just such a terrible way. He was suffering. And in that body mind, there was this torture for him. And he ended up practicing different ways to end his body life, and he ended up hanging himself successfully. And
mm,
but it was such a lesson for me. It really changed things for me, because when I was sitting there just remembering Mark as I knew him, the what the understanding that came, it was just all energy expressing as Mark. There was no Mark. There really wasn't a body. It was just that energy shaping and forming as Mark, and then it just went into this energy that didn't have any shape or form anymore. There was no difference. There was no differentiation between that energy and Mark. It was like Mark didn't exist. It was just this little voice box that said it was Mark, but it wasn't. Even the voice box was the energy saying that. It was so clear that Mark didn't do that. There was no Mark, and it's hard to recognize that when you're identified as just the body mind. Not that you know, like the reflections in the mirror, there was a reflection of Mark. There was an appearance of Mark, but it was just energy, and it was so peaceful to recognize that and to know that that particular body mind wasn't going to have that torturing sense in him anymore.
Mm.
And a lot of people got really upset with me because they thought it was so wrong of this guy to kill himself and all the people he was harming and leaving behind, and how selfish of him. And I said, why isn't it selfish to kill animals when they're suffering? You know, that's the first thing. Oh, how mean we are to let our dogs and cats suffer. But when somebody wants to check out because they're suffering deeply, you know, that's wrong. And I said, oh, I'm so happy for that body mind isn't being tortured anymore or feeling that torture arising. So, you know, people have cancer or want to check out, or I'm all for it. It's like, hey, if you can pick the date and time, that's even better. Why not? But it's life doing it. It's all an expression of that energy. There was never a Mark doing it. But I can't say that to a lot of people because they don't see it that way.
Yeah, people have very, very strong concepts around the idea
Death,
of,
right, Bob? Life can't feed on death. It can only feed on life.
Yeah.
So there's only life, just changing forms.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the remembering happens here because this is memories, and but what you are doesn't need to remember what it is. It doesn't need thoughts and concepts, or you know, I have to remember, oh, I'm that. It just is that. There isn't anywhere else to go from there. That's it. The final destination. Not that it's a place or a destination. I'm just joking, but that's all there is. You can't go back any further, let's say.
Yeah.
You know, when they have that understanding, isn't it silent? Like all of a sudden, there's just a aha, and then just a quiet, like a silent listening. And that's the clarity to me, because there's no explanation needed after that. It's just perfectly, like they say, clear.
Yeah, and there's no
it's just empty aha. Not another word, not another anything needs to be added to that. It's full and complete and whole, just right there in that moment.